Hi everyone, welcome back to Stitch with Leslie. I'm so glad you're here. It is Tuesday, December 2nd, and it is 5:20 p.m. and I have two artificial lights up, so I hope that the lighting is okay today. It is past 4:30 here in Utah, which means it's going to be dark. And that's just how my floss tubes are probably going to go for the next little while until we get to see sun again. I want to start this week by thanking all of my new subscribers for being here. I'm so excited. Every time I get a new subscriber, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. You know that there's somebody out there who likes what you're doing, is interested in what you're doing, and wants to see more. But I also know that a big part of that is because I've had 4 floss tubers mention me in the last few weeks, and I know that you guys came from them. A lot of you did. So they gave me a shout out, and I want to give them a shout out. So the first person I want to shout out is Lindsay over at Stitching Magic 111, and we both love Tiny Modernist cross stitches, and I think she's going to really like one of my new starts this week. And then next we have the Pams and the Stephs, which I just think is so funny. So first we have Pam from Ditsy Daisy Crafts. She gave me her Berry Razzle Award. Thank you, Pam. And I love this because she describes herself as a tart for a start. Love that. She's from the UK. I laughed so hard when I heard that, and I thought, oh yeah, me too. I'm a tart for a start. And I love all the new things. So yay, Pam. We're like soulmates. And then Steph over at Wild Fox Stitchery gave me a shout out. Steph, I have watched you since the beginning of my floss tube days when I was just getting back into cross stitch, and so it was like exciting for me just to be watching a normal video and hear you shout me out. That was awesome. And then last but definitely not least are Pam and Steph over at Just Keep Stitching. They gave me their Silver Floss Tuber of the Week award a couple weeks ago, and they are just so fun and so great to watch, and they're doing all these great things. They're about to go to Paris, and I hope they have the best time. I love Paris. I love being there. I love the people. A lot of people think that the French are rude. I don't. But if you ever go to Paris or to France, one rule that I always suggest everybody learns is when you walk into a cafe, when you walk into a shop, when you walk into a store, when you walk into a museum, the polite thing to do is to say, bonjour, madame, messieurs. And you're just saying hello. If like the front desk is right by the door to check out, and I can see that it's a woman, I will say, bonjour, madame. And it's just a quiet acknowledgement, and you move in. I think sometimes as tourists, our default is to not be noticed. And so we walk into stores and we don't want to say hello. We don't want people to notice us because if they come talk to us, often we can't talk back to them. But in French, if you just say, bonjour, madame, messieurs, then you're covering your bases, you're saying hello. If you don't say hello, it's seen as shifty behavior, like you're trying to hide something. So, yeah, that's my one tip, and enjoy it. So, let's get started. I have one sort of finish that I want to show you. So I finished stocking number 2 for the 12 Days of Christmas Stockings by Annie B's Folk Art. And I covered up the charts. Here they are, our 2 turtle doves. And here's mine. Oh, let me get my board. I'm calling it a sort of finish because it's not all 12. So in my project planner, I'm counting all 12 stockings as one. So I do have, part. And then also I need to do the beading. So I'm still scared about the beading. But I did change this color to a lighter cream, just so that there was more of a difference there. With all my new followers, I have gotten so many great tips for beading. So I have ordered the needles people have recommended. A lot of people have recommended this like sticky board, not sticky board, what they call it. Anyway, it's a thing that it's a little tacky, and you can put your beads on there so they're not like rolling around all crazy. And I have asked people in comments in other videos, like, how are you putting your beads on? Are you using one strand? Or are you using two? So I just want to thank everybody who has given me tips or advice, because I have now learned about Nora Corbett and Mirabilia cross stitch patterns, and they have a lot of beading in them, and a lot of people love them. And so many of you are so amazingly proficient at the beading. So that's one of my goals for December, is I'm going to do number 3, and then I'm going to get number 1 and number 2 beaded. So I want to make sure I'm beading these as I go and not leaving them all the way till the end. Okay, so let's talk about my new starts. Because I finished the Sweetheart ornaments and I'm still working on stitching for my Stitchy games, I started the Be Sweet ornaments from It's So Emma for my bee wall. And well, I started it on a 14 count Aida, and I don't know, this is as far as I got. I don't know where I got this Aida, but I've washed it and it is still incredibly stiff, and it is thick, and it is hard. So I actually did the outer part of this, and I couldn't stitch the next day because my hand hurt so much from doing that. And I'm only using 2 strands this time. So then last night I stitched this, and I still hated it. I went down in needle size, and I was just not happy. And so I am not happy with this Aida. It is too stiff. I don't know where I got it from. I've zigzag stitched around the entire thing, so I can't, and it's completely cut out on all 4 sides. So I don't know if it can't be a Zweigart. I love Zweigart Aida, so I'm not sure what brand it is, and I'm just not happy. And so I'm going to restart this before I'm too far in and choose a different fabric. I'm probably going to choose a 25 count Lugana. I've really been liking stitching on Lugana lately, and so, I mean, technically this is a new start, and I will pick it up again this next week. I'm just waiting on some fabric to come that I've ordered. So I have 2 other unexpected new starts that I want to talk about. So my parents live about 4 hours south of me in a city called St. George, and I was going home for Christmas, or I was going home for Thanksgiving for about a week because I'm off, still recovering from surgery. I do go back to work next Monday, so that's good. But I had very neatly packed my cross stitch. I had made decisions about what I was going to take because I couldn't take it all, but I had goals I needed to finish through November. I had stitchy games I needed to finish. I was still working on Great British Bake Off stitching. I was working on Amazing Race stitching. In the Semi-Sane Stitchers group on Facebook, I was working on an escape room, a Thanksgiving escape room. I was going to get these goals accomplished. So I very neatly packed everything into my bucket. I'll pop a picture up here for you. And then I left it. I left it at home. I can't believe I did that. And I remember driving down to St. George, and I had like made a turn. I think I'd stopped at a gas station, and I made a turn to get on the freeway, and I heard my bags slide across my back seat. And I remember thinking, oh, I hope that's not your stitchy, your stitchy bin, because it's metal. Like, I hope that didn't like scratch the leather seats. No, didn't scratch the seats, because I never brought it out to the car. I had my bag, I had my other bag, and that's normally all I take. Only this time I have cross stitch. So I got home, I went to pull things out of the back seat, and I immediately saw, oh no, I forgot my cross stitch. So I walked into the house and I said, Mom, do you think Primrose Cottage is open today? Because I gotta go buy some cross stitch. I cannot be here for 7 days without cross stitch. And so we got in the car. So I chose 2 patterns that I already own because I didn't know, I have a lot of patterns on my Christmas list for my family, and I didn't want to get something that they had already bought me. So, well, before I show you the patterns, I didn't have anything. So I bought a project bag, and then of course I had to get this bee needle minder. Oh my gosh, so cute. So cute. I mean, it's the cutest needle minder I think I own. So that's my new favorite needle minder. And I did have to I bought just like the kits of floss, and then I bought some DMC while I was there because my mom had some of the colors, but not all of the colors, and she's been cross-stitching for a long time, and so some of her colors, she didn't have very much left on her bobbin, and I didn't want to run out, and I didn't want the dye lots to have changed. So I bought all new. That's fine. We can always use more floss, right? So when I got to my parents' house and I knew I needed to go buy new cross stitch, I looked at my files and I looked at what I wanted to start. And so the first thing I wanted to start was Stitching Rules by Primrose Cottage. I thought, well, I'm here. I might as well buy something from Primrose Cottage, right? So we went, I got the Color and Cotton floss pack. I've never worked with Color and Cotton before. It's very soft. And then I had to buy a half yard of fabric because that's just the size that it fit since this is such a long size. So this is 28 count light ash gray Lugana. And I started at the bottom and, oops, and I'm working on this last square that says just keep stitching. So I think all I have left, I have some bees here and in between these flowers, and then across the top there's like a lace border, and then I'm going to move to the one above it. Now I know some people make these into little pillows or stand-ups. I'm gonna do this one as a long one, and I'm gonna put it in my quilting room. So, but it's going to be, let me look, 6 1/8 inch wide by 21 1/4 inches tall. So it's so cute. It says Stitching Rules, count twice, stitch once, enjoy each stitch, always cross your X's, no frogging allowed, there are never too many whips, and just keep stitching. So cute. So cute. Oh, I forgot to say, on Stitching Rules, I was able to put in 1,100 new stitches. Now, my digital pattern reader had a hard time deciding what was a stitch and what wasn't, and so I don't know what percentage that is. But generally, I think each of those sections is about 1,500 stitches, so I'm doing pretty good. And then the second pattern that I chose was the Bee Queen by the Tiny Modernist. I love this. She's so pretty. I love her dress, the beehive, all the flowers. I love her beehive hairdo. I mean, oh, killer. I absolutely loved stitching on this. I did, let me look here. So I absolutely loved stitching on the Bee Queen. Loved it. I just couldn't put it down. So I did it on a cream 28 count Lugana. And here she is. Oh, so I started at the top and worked down. Oh, she's so beautiful. So I'm working on getting her dress outlined, and it's hard to tell, but I'm working on doing the white so that then I can just fill in. Oh. And look, the like back stitching to make her corset. Oh, it's so pretty. I love the flowers in her hair and the bee. I remember watching Adelaide from Adelaide Stitches talk about how much she loved stitching the Stitch Witch, and I get it now. I get it. And I'm going to be doing, I own the entire series, and I'm going to be doing all of them. I wasn't sure if I would, but now I will. They've moved up in ranking on what I want to do next. So, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. So I put in 2,698 stitches, which brought me up to 20%. I pulled her out every day, and I just kept going and going and going. And I felt like such a little kid because every time I'd finish for the night, I'd say, "Look, Mom, look," and she'd praise it. But one thing I want to talk about is what you do when there's a mistake. Because I don't know if you would see it, but I have 4 mistakes in our little bee queen here. Yeah, 4 of them. But you will never know, and I'm not going to point them out. But those of you stitched, you might be able to tell what they are if you really, really looked. But from far away, you can't see. So there's a saying in quilting when people make mistakes and they say like, "Oh, should I rip it out and redo it?" A lot of quilters will say, if I'm on a horse riding by, will I see it? If the answer is no, then you don't take it out. And I kind of feel like that. Like I will work around it. I will adapt the pattern. I will add some extra stitches here and there. But I'm very reluctant to rip out stitches. Now I made a mistake in here that was going to make it really hard for me to adjust the pattern. And so I did, but I didn't rip them out. Like I was still actively stitching that part, and so it's easy just to pull out those threads. But if I was working down here and noticed a mistake up here, I wouldn't rip it out. Now, I know that there are people who would, and that's why your stuff is perfect. But mine is not perfect. But I think that comes down to this idea of doing this for joy and what we get out of it when we do it. And it's not joyful for me to rip it out. But for some people, it's not joyful for them to look at a piece and see a mistake. That's not something they enjoy. So to each their own. It's your project, it's your stitch, you get to do what you want. But I very rarely will rip out. Now, I took a quilt class from a lady named Verushka. If you look her up in the quilting community, her handle is Pride and Joy Quilting. And she won like Best in Show, Grand Champion, I forget the official term, for the Modern Quilt Guild's like international show. And it is a beautiful double-sided quilt. And I was able to take a class from her this fall at Garden of Quilts. And she said something that has totally, I think, changed a lot of things in my life. People were like scrimping and saving scraps of fabric. And she said, no, cut your fabric generously and then trim it down. And that's really hard for people who are used to saving scraps of fabric in quilting. And she said, this is here to serve you. This piece of fabric is here to serve you and to bring you joy. And if like you're so worried about saving every little stitch of fabric that you are going slower, you're not able to finish, or you cut yourself short and then you have to rip it out because you don't have enough fabric, is that serving you? And I've been approaching my life that way in a lot of ways. So like in little things, I call it like leveling up my life, but I, for years, have had plastic measuring cups for liquid. And I finally just bought the glass measuring cups. And it just brought me so much joy because that is there to serve me. So what's going to work best and what's going to make me happiest? For me, in that instance, it was a glass measuring cup because my plastic ones, it was hard to read. I wasn't quite sure if that was 2/3 of a cup or a half of a cup, you know, those sorts of things. And so I've been thinking about that with stitching. Like, this is here to serve me, and this is here to make me happy. And so I need to do what makes me happy. But I keep thinking about, like, this is here to serve us. And if it's not bringing you joy, then you need to release it. So you hate it, let it go. Like that Ada fabric for my Be Sweet ornaments, wow, I'm letting that go. I'm not going to slog through 3 ornaments and then go, oh, I guess I better keep going so that they all match. No, I'm going to give it up now and move on to something that will bring me joy. So it's just some thoughts I've been having. And as I've been starting the cross stitch journey, and it comes down to also little things. Like sometimes I feel like I have to use every bit of my thread, and then it's like hard to like secure the thread in the back of your project. Nah, I'm going to end my thread earlier, secure my thread, make it easy for me, and then clip away and throw away all that extra. For me, that's worth it. I am starting to get arthritis in my hands, and my hands ache, and sometimes it's hard to do those like finite details. I think that's why I like stitching on larger fabric too. But that's gonna make me happier than like scrimping and saving. So sorry for the tangent. Oh my goodness. If you're still here, thanks for staying. But I'm curious, like in the comments, tell me like what do you think of that? Is stitching here to serve us and to bring us joy? And what are some things that we can do to make it more joyful? So, okay, let's go through what I've worked on. There are some things I'm not going to show you, like those Be Sweet ornaments. I did 495 stitches, but I'm still going to do a new start. I put in 98 stitches on Paris of My Dreams, but it's a huge, like hundreds of thousands of stitches project, like full coverage. You can't even tell. I'm not going to show you that. Okay, so I'm still working on the messenger because it's in my stitchy games. I was hoping to get it done over Thanksgiving, but I left it at home. So as a reminder, this is what it is supposed to look like. And here's where I'm at. I was able to put in 704 stitches, which brought me up to 75% working in on this tree. I was doing like diagonal stitching and parking threads, but I worked in all my parked threads, and I realized like I don't like stitching that way. I don't think. Maybe later, but what I found was I would be stitching down here and like have a new parked thread down here, and that was hard for me. So that's okay. But this is something I've learned with my stitchy games. This is from Great British Bake Off. I'm still working on it, but it's December. Like I'm way over this. So when I do stitchy games in the spring for some of my other shows that I watch, and I'll talk about that when I do my plans video in the next couple weeks, I need to make sure that I choose projects that I'm going to want to work on for several months, because you don't know who's going to win and who's going to last that long. So it better be something that you want to work on for that long. And I think I'm kind of a seasonal stitcher. I'm really ready to stitch all the Christmas and all the winter. And I'm done with Halloween, but I want to finish my stitches because I'm a rule follower. Okay, next we have Hello Dear from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is their winter tree, and they just finished up their stitch along for their Christmas tree, and I bought it. I waited until the very end because the price is cheaper if you wait till the end. Little tip if you like Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So I only put in 455 stitches since the last time you saw it because I forgot it. I did some down here. I think I worked on this. But I am loving this. I just think it's so cute. So cute. So that brought me up to 54%. And my goal for December is to bring this up to 75%. And in January, finish it. So that's the goal. So I just have the rest of the tree, and then there's grass down here and 2 figures. So cute. And I'm super excited to, work on their spring and summer. And so I've made the decision that I will work on this until February, and then at March, no matter where I'm at, I'm going to put this down for the season and pick up their spring, which is called Hello Petal. And it is so cute. So cute. Okay, next we have Winter Sayings of the Season by Stitching with the Housewives. And for this one, I was able to put in 784 stitches, which brought me up to 30%. And now I have all of winter. And I'm starting on like the white snow along the ground this way. So this is weird because you can tell that this fabric was cut off green. So it looks wonky because the black is not straight. The fabric is not straight. But here's an example of a mistake that I didn't rip out. I am 1 stitch too low down here. I kept it, and I kept the other side the same. And then I just made sure that when I brought the ground over on this side, that it lined up with that W, because I thought it's a W. Capital letters are bigger, so it's okay if it's 1 stitch too low. And look, see, you can't tell. And if you can, it doesn't look weird, right? I mean, this one has lots of mistakes, right? This is off. I've added, because this was off, and it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah. So this is the same with this one. I hope to finish this by the end of December or January. But if it's March and I still haven't finished it, then I'm going to move on to Sayings of the Season Spring. And we'll start working on spring. Okay, so my goal was to finish the H in the home. But because I didn't take this home, I didn't get that done. But I was able to put in 249 stitches. So we are almost there. I think this will be 1 more stitching session, maybe 2 if I'm tired, and I will have this H done. So that's on my December goals, is to finish the H. For real. And last is my Winter Snowflake Quaker sampler. I feel like I call it something different every time because it's not named. It's like numbered from Happy Mood Point Designs. But I don't know. My board's not big enough for this. But I mostly worked and finished up this design right here. And it was a harder one because the outside had like a pattern, but the inside, it has a pattern, but it's not a pattern that's easy to go from like one thing to another. So I didn't carry too much there on the back, but yeah. And I think one night I was tired and I started working on this. So whenever I know I need to get to work on something, but I'm a little too tired to think, then I will go and do like the straight sections. So, okay, so that's all the whips that I worked on. But I want to share with you my end of November stats. So this includes everything in November. So here we go. I worked on 17 different projects. I had 8 new starts. 8. I had 1 finish, and that was Autumn Sayings of the Season. I stitched for 27 out of the 30 days. I had 21,029 stitches. And I started keeping track of the time that I spent stitching, and I stitched 95 hours and 13 minutes. That is crazy. But I think it's important to remember that I have been home, recovering from surgery, which means, okay, I have not done any cooking. I had a lot of food. I had amazing coworkers that had bought me these like frozen meals when I had my double mastectomy, and I still had them. So I had those. I have been gifted so many DoorDash gift cards so I have not been cooking. I have not been cleaning. I'm not allowed to clean. I can only lift 10 pounds. And so, that really limits what you do. And I cannot do any vacuuming, mopping, like those sorts of things. And so that's incredible. I expect this, now that I'm going to be going back to work next week, to change drastically. We probably won't see it in December, but in January we'll see it. And I'm going on a work trip in January. And so I'm going to be gone for about 10 days. And I think my January stitching is going to be little to nothing. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So my December plans. I need to finish up my goals from November. So Great British Break Off, Amazing Race, finish that H. So everything that got left here and didn't make it home with me for Thanksgiving needs to get done. And then I've been looking at a lot of people doing Flossmas, and I am not ready to commit to doing a video every day. But I love the 12 Days of Christmas, and I want to start working on multiple sets of ornaments. My kind of goal is to have a 12 Days of Christmas tree in my house, and I would like to get quite a lot of ornaments done for that for next year, so that I have it up on my tree. So I thought we might do something a little different. I thought I would show you the patterns that I have been collecting and have you tell me which one you think I should start in this Christmas season. And I thought for the rest of December, I would be working on these these 12 Days of Christmas ornaments for my own personal Flossmas. And maybe I would do some YouTube shorts or Instagram reels kind of showing those. Now I have bought fabric and I'm waiting for a lot of it to come. I know one got delivered today to my mailbox, but I have my mail delivered at a UPS store because people steal packages off my porch, and so I was not able to go pick it up today before they closed. So I'll pick that up tomorrow, but I'm collecting fabric for these patterns. So let's get into my Google Drive and I will show you the patterns I have. Okay, so here we are in my Google Drive, and I have zoomed way far in so that you can see these. So a lot of these come from magazines. So this one comes from Cross Stitcher from 2022, the 12 Days of Christmas collection. And here's what they look like. Cute little rounds. Oh, okay, pattern. So with these, it'll be kind of hard for me to show you all 12 of the patterns, but let's call this number 1. So if you like number 1 and you want me to start this one, you'll put it in the comment. So here's number 1. I better write this down so I don't forget. I think these are super cute. They're not very big, and they've got some really cool, interesting colors. Okay, number 2 comes from Cross Stitcher, November, December of 2019. Look at these. I love how they're little individual squares. So any of these that have individual squares, I'm just going to film them as individual ornaments. But look at these cute little music notes for 4 calling birds. And I love that the 4 here is the tree branch. But I thought this was really great. So this came in 2 parts, and I've merged them together in this document. So this one's number 2. Okay, number 3 is 12 Days of Christmas Bunting by Michele. So these would actually be, instead of bunting, I would finish them as triangles. So upside down trees, I guess. So here's number 3. Okay, number 4 is Durene Jones. And these I would do as individual. All of these will be individual. But I love how bright these colors are on the black background. I mean, look at this 8 Maids of Milking. Oh, she's so cute. So cute. Like, Durene Jones is just amazing. And actually, I'm pretty sure she designed the very first design as well, because she designs for magazines so much. Okay, number 5 is the Chris from Just Cross Stitch of 2022, and they are also rounds, but they do have the entire, they say what they are, but they do have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. Oh, I can't show you without showing the pattern. So here's 3 and 4. I love the cardinal. I love these French hens with the French flag. Oh. So cute. Here's 6 geese a-laying. Now this 5 golden rings, this one kind of weirds me out. I don't know how I feel about that. Here's 8 Maids of Milking. This cow. This cow looks a little sassy, don't you think? 7 Swans a-Swimming. 10 Lords a-Leaping, and they put on a little bit of lace here, which is such a great idea. 9 Ladies Dancing. And then 12 Drummers Drumming, 11 Pipers Piping. Okay, so this one is number 5. Number 6 I got from Etsy. Let's look at them up close. These are just so darling as well. I think, well, of course, I like all of these. That's why I bought them. So this is from Green Ginger Designs, and this will be number 6. Okay, then we have 12 Days of Christmas from Satsuma Street, number 7. Look at how happy this maid and this cow are. I mean, so cute. And I love that the drummer is a girl. I just love that. So, super cute. I would love to do this as all one, but these are for ornaments for my tree, so I'll do them in square. So Satsuma Street is number 7. Okay, number 8 is Shannon Christine. And I just bought like this like minty blue green fabric that I thought might fit these. These were from our 2022 Christmas Club. So, oh, sorry. But you kind of get the gist of what they would look like here. Here's our 3 French hens and 4 calling birds. And so this is actually done in a metallic thread right through here and beading. I'm a little nervous. I love this swan. This is such a beautiful swan. And look at her expression. Oh, so cute. Our ladies dancing and our lords a-leaping. And our pipers and our drum. So one thing I love about these is the ornaments that are hanging. I just think they're so cute. And the colors are just so fresh. Okay, so Shannon Christine, she's number 8. Okay, then we have the Prairie Schooler Santas. And I think I only have a picture of the first 4 because I scanned this in. I bought the book. but a lot of you have seen these. So the Prairie Schooler Santas are number 9. Okay, then we have from Unique Stitch Crafts these 12 Days of Christmas. Oh, I know it seems repetitive, but I just think they're so cute. Like every last one of them are so cute. I love that this is a black swan. I love this face on this maid of milking. So cute. And this one, I really like how they've put in what they are. You know, some with outlines, some solid. So this one's number 10. Unique Stitch Crafts. Okay, then we have Vivsters or Vivienne Powers, 12 Days of Christmas. These are just so well designed, but I feel like so many of her cross-stitch designs are. I mean, she's able to get detail with very few colors, which is kind of amazing. I mean, look at the shading. Oops, look at the shading on this musical instrument, trumpet. So Vivienne Powers or Vivsters, she is number 11. Okay, Christmas Primitive Sampler from Crafted Keepsake Studio is going to be number 12. I really like how this one has symbols to represent the people. So this one's number 12. Okay, I think that, oh, okay, let's keep going. This one is, these are little itty bitty ones. Oh, these are all designed by Durene Jones as well. I mean, my goodness, but they are tiny. I don't think I can show you because this is, you know, in magazines, how they have like the little stitches and they just show you, they're all on like a page. Anyway, so these are little, but they're so cute. And look at these great colors. So Durene's second is going to be number 13. Okay, then we have this from Tatiana Tolokovich. I'm so sorry for saying that wrong. She's number 14. Okay, 15 is this classic Christmas collection. And I don't know if you can see them. They're right back here. I don't know. Yeah, I can't show you. So this is as close as I can get. But they're very different. They're patterned in the background. So this one is number 16. This one's number 17. It's always hard when they're not actually stitched. And it's just a mock-up. So this one's fairly simplistic, but they are quite small. So these would be little itty-bitty ornaments. These are number 17. This is cross-stitched by Coconut. Okay, this one comes from Cross Stitcher magazine in 2024, so fairly recent. And it's actually meant to be all together. And so I would actually take these and stitch these separately. So one thing that will be hard about this is that they're all different sizes, right? You have your trumpet, who's huge, and then your little goose for 6 geese a swimming, or 6 geese a laying. So this one I'm not so sure about. It's number 18. Okay, number 19. This comes from Just Cross Stitch in 2019. It's very traditional looking, but also they're different sizes. Like 3 hens and 11 pipers are taller than all the rest. This one's number 19. Okay, number 20 is by Christmas Miracle Stitching. This one I'm having a hard time. I absolutely love this, but I do not know how I would do that border. And so I don't know if I would just, like for our 4 cardinals, do this part and then across, but then also repeat it for number 8, or do I leave it off altogether? So I love these. I think they are just amazing. They have like stitching around the outside that kind of would add a different texture or effect. And then they have these, like you can see here on the 5 rings, they have postmarks. I'm not sure if I would keep them or not, but they do add something to it. So this one I'm struggling with, knowing whether or not to keep the ivy and the leaves in between and how to do that. So let me know what you think. This one is number 20. Oops. And then let me zoom out. These we're not going to vote on because I'm not ready to do these yet, but I am collecting Liz Matthews' Days of Christmas. So I have number 10 Lords of Leaping, 11 pipers piping, and 12 drummers drumming. And these pipers are my favorite. But I will be doing the tree finishing when I'm ready to do that. But for it to look okay and not be totally out of proportion on my Christmas tree, I'm going to need to do it on either 40 count fabric or on 25 count, but just do it over 1. So we'll see. We'll see what I need to do. But I absolutely love these, and I am going to finish them in the tree and hang them from the top. So that's the plan. So that's all 20, and actually I just realized I have 2 more. So 21 will be the Prairie Schooler ones that I just bought, but they're smaller. So it's not the Prairie Schooler Santas, it's the other one. And I'll have to pop in a picture, but I also just bought the Jardin Privé 12 Days of Christmas, and I love how they look like little red gift tags. So that one will be number 22. So Jardin Privé will be number 22. Okay, so I would love for you to tell me your favorites. I read every comment, and so I will keep a tally mark, and then maybe after the Jingle Ball, I will add up all the favorites and maybe like create a wheel and just do the top 6 or something and try to start a new 12 Days of Christmas ornament every other day leading up to Christmas and see how much I can get done. And then those will be the 12-day ornaments that I will work on throughout this year. So that's the plan. Thank you so much for sticking around. I can't wait to hear what you think, what your favorites are. I like them all. That's my problem, is I like them all. But yeah. If you're headed to the Jingle Ball, let me know. I have never been. I'm super excited. I am going to try the stitching rooms. I might try the like speed dating or speed meet and greet that they do. We'll just see. I know when I looked at the calendar, I want to go to all of the like meet the designers. I just think it'd be great to hear from them and learn from them, and I don't know. So I'm super excited. I think it's going to be great, and I'm going to try really hard not to buy a lot of things.